All right, in this video, we're going to be going through how to input a new listing. So you've had your listing appointment, the clients are signing or have signed the exclusive right to sell. Now it's a matter of getting this into MLS and as an active listing. So you're going to go into MLS, as you can see here. First thing that I would do is I'm going to open up, actually, I'm going to go, let's do a past sale. Try to find, this is just a random random address of one of my past clients that'll probably be selling sometime soon. So what I want to do is I want to get the MLS number of the last time that this was listed. Okay, then I'm going to go to input, and you've got your options here. So add new, edit existing. If you're going to do a quick modify, you can click on this list and see the current listings that you have and click on that and make adjustments. Obviously for this one, we're doing a new listing. So you're going to add new, and then you're going to select the appropriate form. Now, this is why I put in, or I looked up that last MLS number, because I can input that here and I can click fill form. Now, if you can't find an old MLS number, you can do a blank property or you can fill from realist tax. My suggestion is to fill from realist tax rather than starting with a blank form, because at least then they're going to have some information in there for you. But filling from an old MLS number makes it way easier than anything else. Now, just because we are utilizing old data from a previous listing doesn't mean that we can 100% guarantee that that information is accurate. So you do want to make sure that we go through each one of these steps and make updates and or corrections based on the current status of the house. Okay. So on the status, you have options here. So this is going to be based on how your exclusive right to sell is filled out. So if it's active, that means that it's going to go in immediately. As soon as you hit the submit property, that is going to go as an active listing. Pre-MLS, so this is something that you would have had a conversation with your client with and noted it on the exclusive right to sell. So if you want it to be pre-MLS and it's got a future active date, you would need to put in that date that it's actually going to go active. Same thing, well, not quite, but incoming is essentially the same thing. So let's say there's maybe just a day's difference. Maybe this particular listing is going to go live tomorrow. Okay, so I could do incoming, put a date of tomorrow. So that means at 12:01 midnight that it is going to go live. Okay, so you have those three options. Then you're just going to start going through the menu up at the top. So you're going to click on listing and you'll see a lot of the stuff is going to be filled out for you. These ugly yellow fields are the fields that have to be filled out. So single family, attached note, you will enter the price that you have agreed upon with your client. This low price, I don't know if you guys have noticed this when you're set up portals in MLS for some of your clients, but the low price, what it will do is, let's say, for example, I list this house at 200, but I want people, let's say I listed at 210, and I want people that are approved or that have a search up to 200 to still see this. So I could put a low price of 200. So that means that anybody who sets up a search for their client, even though this one's listed at 210, it is still going to show up as a property in their portal. Okay, so if you haven't seen this yet, you will see it. So don't be surprised if clients tell you, oh, there's a property that showed up in my portal that is outside of the price range that we talked about. Now, that's because the agent put in a low price. Okay, then you've got manufactured, whether it's manufactured, yes or no. Obviously, that's not a required field, but I always answer it. It'll automatically fill in your area, address, legal description. Again, you should probably still check this and make sure that that is right by going into realist. Number of bedrooms, baths, half baths. Again, This may be different than what the house currently is if there's been upgrades and additions done to it. Is it a maintenance provided house? Yes or no? Above grade finish, where your source was, the age description, your below grade finish, where you got that information at. Your lot size, you'll see that one is required. So it is useful to have Realist pulled up for you so that you can go back and forth. So if I bring that up on this particular house, Southeast Brentwood, then I can look at this information. You'll see here, there's my legal description. Coming down here, it wants to know the lot size. So if I'm going to do square footage, I put in 9770, and then I can specify that it is square feet. And then the source, you can just put public records, RPR, okay, basement. Again, you kind of get the gist of how to fill this out. Once you're done with this page, you're going to go to general. So general, please make sure, include as many schools as you can. The school district is the only one that's absolutely required, but schools are very important. So it is a good idea to include elementary, middle, and a high school. Then you can just start checking. Again, this is from an old listing, so make sure that everything that is checked is correct. If you need to add things, then you can add things. So architecture, it's traditional. Dining area, it is an eat-in kitchen. Well, technically it's not quite an eat-in kitchen. It is a little formal. So if there's a fence, utility room is in the basement, garage attached. It faces the front. You can, okay, if there's a lake, you can answer that. Flooring, wood floors. I'm sure she has tile floors in there as well. If they have carpet, you could click carpeted. Floor plan, it's a ranch. Basement is finished. Does have a garage entrance and inside entrance. And it does have a sump pump, fireplace, where that is and whether it's gas or wood. If there are any additional rooms that you want to specify. And then construction. So is it siding? Is it wood? Is it brick? Okay, and then you've got your lot description here. And you see each one of these has a max of how many that you can select. So please be mindful of that as well. Right, when you're done with general, you're going to go to office. It should populate yourself in here already. Co-op phone number, you do need to include the showing time phone number in there. Your list date, so this is going to be from your exclusive right to sell. So if my example was tomorrow, typically for mine, I do a 3-month expiration. So it would be October 18th. I have to apologize. My dog is making some noise playing with her toy. My title company that I use is Security First Title. So whichever title company you use. Then you've got SA Comp. So SA means selling agent. You are the selling agent, so that means there's not going to be an additional selling agent. So this should be 0. Buyer broker, so if somebody brings a buyer, whatever percent you're going to pay them. Hopefully it's 3%, but if you've negotiated a lesser commission overall, then that's your decision on how you want to handle that. Transaction broker, it's pretty much going to be the same as your buyer broker. And then you've got options on how your compensation, what your compensation is based on. So are you doing a fixed dollar amount? If so, these would need to have been dollars and a value instead of a percent. Then your options are your gross sale price or your net sales price. So hopefully you already know the difference between these two, but if you don't, your gross sales point would be, say you sell the house for $210,000, but you have $5,000 in seller paid closing costs, you're still getting paid off of the $210,000. If you do net sales price, the commission is based off of a $205,000 because you're taking off the seller paid amount. Okay. Then these will automatically display yes, you can leave that. Then you've got your showing instructions. Again, you have a max of 3. So more than likely, you're probably going to want people to make an appointment. And then these are just going to be based on different things that you've discussed with your client. Do they need 24 hours notice? Is it on an iBox? Is it on a combination? Is it vacant? Is it occupied? You can kind of look through and see all of these additional options you can select there. Are they a day sleeper? So that showings are only going to be allowed in the evenings and on weekends. Okay. Then you've got your listing type. It's more than likely going to be an exclusive right to sell, and you are more than likely the designated agent. Again, this is all in your paperwork. So if it's different, answer the questions differently. Then we're going to go to rooms up at the top. So you'll see that the previous agent put in all of the different bedrooms and included most of the dimensions except for the bathrooms. So ideally, when you walked the house and took the listing, or maybe when you went and got pictures, at some point in time, you went ahead and measured all of the rooms so that you can ensure that this information is correct. It absolutely helps buyers when they're looking. I've had some that were really concerned about the bedroom size, and my last clients were actually really concerned about the living room size because they had a huge 10 by 10 couch that had to fit. So this definitely helps people looking. So please ensure that you do get this information and verify that it's correct, or if you need it, add it. You can kind of see it's pretty easy, self-explanatory how to fill this out. You do have to do the calculations, and you continue to add more rooms if you need to here at the bottom by clicking more. All right, additional. This is just some additional information again that you need to include. So is it in a floodplain? Are there any inspection inclusions? And you'll see that most of these have a question mark. Some of them will give you more information if you click on that. Some of them won't. Inspection inclusions are if there is something that they put on their seller's disclosure that says that it is excluded from mechanical repairs. So a lot of the ones that I see, example might be the chimney. Maybe they've never used the fireplace. So they do put EX at the chimney and possibly the fireplace. So if you have some of those, you can go ahead and put yes. Ownership. So obviously answering the correct answer here. Is it an investor? Is it private? Is it government? Is it a relocation? Okay. Then you've got heat. Again, just verifying that all of these things that are required are correct, and then looking at all the additional things as well to make sure they're correct and adding or deleting as necessary. This one also has additional down below. If there is an HOA, please ensure that you do have the appropriate information for the HOA and you disclose as much as possible. Okay, that is makes it much easier for the other agent, also makes it much easier for the buyers to have that information up front. Okay, then we'll go to financial. So is there an HOA association? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, there's going to be fees associated with that. So you will have to put in the fees. So let's just go ahead and put yes, even though this one is no. Let's say it's $150 a year. So $150 annually. Are there any special documents required? Okay. This would be something that hopefully the client would let you know. You should, if there are special documents in regards to the HOA, yes or no. What the taxes are. So this is what you're going to get from Realist. So I'm going to go here. You'll see 2020, 1624. You do want to put that information in there. Are there any special taxes that the client is responsible for? Special assessments or anything like that? You would put that value in there. Do they have a tax abatement? Yes or no? Then you'll want to specify how this house can be sold. So cash conventional are probably guaranteed. As for FHA, VA, USDA, those are going to depend on condition of house and location. Okay, so if the house is in great condition, you want to open it up to all buyers, then definitely do FHA and VA. USDA is going to be based solely on where it's at. So if you don't know about USDA, please talk to your coach or your lender before clicking that. Essentially, that's going to be the rural areas. So thinking down south, Pleasant Hill is USDA. Raymore, Belton Peculiar, those are going to be more USDA eligible areas. Okay, green environment, you can see if there are additional features, you can utilize that information. Sorry, my dog's going crazy. And then lastly, we have remarks. So public remarks, this is where you're going to write information about the property to entice buyers to want to see it and grab their attention. Directions, this cannot just say GPS or see GPS. You have to have turn-by-turn directions. Typically, we'll start at a main road close to it. You could write the turn-by-turn directions and then say, for example, GPS will locate the house. You could say, don't use GPS if the GPS takes you to somewhere else, and then put the turn-by-turn directions. But just make sure that you're not just writing GPS on there. If the MLS sees that, they're going to call you out on that. And definitely don't want you to get fined. Your private remarks, typically what we put on this is going to be, remove shoes in inclement weather. Be sure to turn off lights and lock doors behind you. This is where you could write if your client is asking for, advance notice. So maybe they need 1 hour, 2 hour advance notice. You can put that in there. If they're going to be home, put that in there. Just whatever additional information that you can provide, do that. I would not recommend, if you're doing a combo lock, putting the combo lock in there. We want them to request an appointment for that. So make them request an appointment and get the information from showing time once it has been approved. Okay. Once you've done everything, filled in all your fields, you're going to click on validate, and it's going to give you these little red explanation points at each one of these where you're missing information. And then when you click on it, you'll see this sign here. That means that has to be filled in. Okay, same thing with this one. Co-op phone number, all of this stuff needs to be inputted, needs to be corrected. Okay, so it makes it very, very easy for you. You can save at any time. You can save as incomplete and come back to this at a later time. Once everything is done, you're ready to go. You can submit property, and that will either, again, make it go active, put it in pre-MLS, or make it incoming. All right. So let me go ahead and come in here to one of my other ones, and I'll show you real quick this is what it looks like if you want to make any edits to anything. So this is where you're going to go when you want to change to sold, change to show for backup or pending or contingent. If you're canceling it, if you're doing a price change, this is where you're going to make edits. In the previous screen, once you hit submit, it would give you a spot to manage your photos, manage your supplements, and manage showing time. Since I didn't submit, it didn't take me to that screen. So this is going to look a little different, but it's still the same process. For your photos, you're just going to click manage photos. It'll bring you to this. Obviously, there won't be any photos in here. You're just going to click browse, and you're going to find where those photos are on your desktop. You're going to select them, and then they're going to load. Down at the bottom, you do have this little certification, so please read this. It just pretty much says that they are your photos, you have the rights to them, and that you have permission to share them. Okay, so then you'll certify and save once they're all in there. Okay, then for your supplements, you will write in the name of the supplement. So if it's a seller's disclosure, you're going to write that in here. Then you're going to choose file, find it on your computer, and then you will click the upload. Once that one's done, you'll notice that it populates up here. You'll take it out, take the writing out. You'll put in your other one, like if you have a lead-based paint. Again, you're going to choose file, you're going to click upload. You continue to do that for as many supplements as you have. Okay. The last thing is your showing time. So when you go into showing time, looks like it wants me to log in. This is where you're going to specify how the other agents get access to the house. So definitely important that you have this set up. I'm going to just go ahead and bring up one of my listings For example, this one, so it's going to look a little different because I've already added my client. But at the top here, you'll see allow a showing center to take appointments. It automatically defaults to no. That just means that if people call in, they can't schedule it by calling in. They actually have to do it online. Okay. Then here you've got the default. You've got different things that you can click on. I don't ever usually use those because they are just down here. I just scroll through. So your appointment type. So confirm with any. So this just means that our appointment is required and it does have to be confirmed. So you can see when they mean by any, it means any of these people that you have in contacts. So when you first go into this, it's only going to have you as the listing agent. You actually have to add an owner occupant if your client is the one that wants to be in charge of approving appointments. Ideally, that's the way you want it. You want an email, text, call, whatever it is, whatever they prefer, to go to them for them to approve the showing versus you getting it and you having to call them and get it approved and then you having to go in and approve it. So if they can deal with it directly, then that's the best way to do it. Okay, if you want to do confirm with all, so if all parties have to confirm and approve the showing, you can confirm with all. So in that case, it would mean that I have to approve it and my client has to approve it. Courtesy call, these are immediately confirmed and all that happens is a phone call is placed with the designated listing contact to inform them of the appointment. Go and show means that that will be immediately confirmed and you're just probably going to get a message, you and or your client, that it was a showing is happening. Typically you use these for vacant homes. And then view instructions only, agent will immediately see notes provided by a listing agent. Again, I've not utilized that one, so couldn't really give you a lot of information about that one. So usually you're going to be appointment required, confirm with any, or go and show are your most likely candidates. Okay, again, we kind of talked through this already, adding your contacts, who's going to be approving these showings. Down here we have restrictions. It defaults to yes on these, so allowing inspections and walkthroughs and allowing appraisals. This is your lead time. So if your client needs some lead time, you've got required or suggested. Okay, so you'll see my client requested the suggested. If it were required, you can do it there, and showing time will not allow them to request an appointment or schedule an appointment unless it's beyond an hour. Okay, maximum appointment length, this defaults to 2 hours, I believe, so probably change that. And then this defaults to no overlapping. So please look at this, especially if it is a vacant home. I would say yes, allow overlapping, but please tell the agent ahead of time. Okay. Showing rules, you can add different showing rules. This should be something I would just talk to your coach about. I'm not going to go through it, but for an example would be if like this particular client works from home during the day. So we didn't allow showings during the day. We didn't allow showings until after 3:30. So it was blocked off from 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. to 3:30 every day during the week. But showings could be scheduled after that and then on the weekends. So you can get pretty creative with these showing rules. Here you have how you're going to access the home. So you'll see here, you've got a drop-down menu with all kinds of different options. If you have a combination lock, you would click combination. If you have an iBox, you're going to do that. If you have a combination one, for example, you then have to put in the combination. So that is how the agents will get access to that information. And then you can also put location. So I usually would put front door, or if it's at a side door, wherever it is, you do want to specify that you tell them where to find that. Then you've got notes for showing agent. So again, here's what I put, and I put this in MLS as well. So I just copy and paste what I put for agent remarks in MLS into showing time. So seller works from home, no showings until after 3:30 during the week. Weekends will be open. COVID rules, remove shoes or wear shoe covers and leave prompt feedback. Thank you so much for showing. Okay, and then the driving directions, I believe these populated, they came over straight from MLS. Okay, so that is how you set up showing time, and you go through the whole process of entering a new listing into MLS.